Hey, fellas.
Welcome back, guys.
See you, How y'all doing? How you doing, boy? Good to see you, man.
While we were waiting for the casing of Borehole 1 to get done in the Mesa, we welcomed back the guys from Lock Precision to help us conduct our most advanced rocket experiment yet to figure out one of the craziest anomalies we've ever encountered on Skinwalker Ranch.
You know, we've been following up on what appears from our view through LiDAR to be an invisible bubble that is about 600 meters in radius, centered on the triangle here.
Based on numerous infrared LiDAR scans, a gigantic sphere that we call the bubble sits above and below ground, and it covers a huge area, including the Mesa drill site, the East Field, and even Dry Gulch Creek. It's like something that we can't see exists all through that zone and displaces or swallows the data. So today, we're going to use high-powered rockets equipped with specialized devices to see if we can collect some accurate data up in that space. All right, everybody ready for launch? In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Rocket straight overhead. I don't see the light. There it is.
I saw the chute charge, but I didn't see any lights.
I think I just heard it crash on the ground.
Hey, Travis,
Yo,
you're not gonna believe it.
what am I not gonna believe?
So I get over Dry Gulch Creek.
South of it.
Yeah. When I get up near that barrier of the bubble, I start losing all communication on the drone. Could not move the drone.
So that you had GPS errors, you had communication errors.
Yeah.
That's crazy, man.
Hey, Travis, this is Pete. You want to walk over here to the terrestrial laser scanner?
I'm headed right there. Jim's drone issues sounded like, once again, the barrier of the bubble was somehow stopping us from collecting data. So that made me wonder what Pete was about to show me on the LiDAR scanner that we had right in the center of the triangle. What's up, Pete?
Just look at it
What do you want me to look at?
and tell us what you see.
All right.
There's where the rocket was launched from.
Right.
But way over here is where the LiDAR shows its smoke trail after the launch. They should line up.
The rocket is displaced by
10, 12 feet?
10 or 12 feet.
That makes no sense.
LiDAR technology uses infrared light to map out detailed images of an environment. But once again, something at the center of the triangle either fooled or displaced Pete Kelsey's terrestrial LiDAR data to make it seem like our last rocket launch was several feet away from where we knew it actually was. This was more possible evidence that something right in the center of the bubble is corrupting our data collection. But what on earth could do that? Eric, we're a couple of minutes from launch.
Copy that.
How we doing out there, guys?
Good. Well, ready to arm it all up here. Okay. Let me check Kate. Okay.
Either way, now that something at the center of the bubble seemed to be once again stopping us from collecting data there, we needed to launch that last big rocket to see if we could figure it out. All right, let's do it. Hey guys, don't forget to start all the lights and everything.
You can trim that down, or
We got something on the mesa. Eric, we got something on the mesa just west of the tower. Eric, if you got any eyes on top of the mesa that can look north just over the mesa behind the launch tower.
I am watching now.
Travis, please be advised, I do show a moving point of light.
That is to the north and west of the triangle.
Quite interestingly, Travis reports spotting a prospective UAP over the mesa. Immediately, my thoughts are turned to the very peculiar timing of when it showed up. This happens to coincide with the emergence of a 1.2 gigahertz signal. We don't know where it's coming from, but I would really like to know, and I think we would all like to know, what relationship there is between these emergent signals and some of the other phenomenology, like the UAPs that we sometimes see.
Kate says launch is a go.
All right. 5, 4,
3, 2, 1.
chute has deployed. We see the rocket straight up.
Travis, do we have
Eyes on the strobe.
Yes, we do, Eric. It is straight up.
copy that?
2,400 feet right now, Eric.
Copy you, Travis.
I've got eyes on the rocket.
This one's falling way off course. Y'all see that?
Kind of whipping around up there a little bit.
How far?
Half a mile.
Half a mile away right
It's
now.
going to the
north.
same place.
Yeah. These huge rockets are designed to go straight up and come straight back down. There were no high winds, but both large rockets fell way off course to the same spot, like something pushed them away from the bubble. Again, it was like something was stopping us from collecting data above the triangle and inside the bubble. So what could do that?
Hey guys.
Hey.
Come on in, have a seat.
What's going on?
We are going to look at the data from the rocket launches with Locke.
That was a very active night. Remember, there's just a lot going on.
After spending most of the next day crunching all the data from our rocket experiment, Eric called us into the command center to review everything.
So what I'm going to show us is the positional GPS data for all the events that go along with rocket launches.
So, this is the Kate data then?
Yeah.
Which was the computer inside of the rocket.
Yeah. Watch this. So you're going to see the launch. We are at the triangle, center of our bubble, and look what happens here.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so, I mean, look, you guys were standing right down there at the tent. You saw this launch. Do we all agree it didn't do this?
Yeah, it did not do
It
that.
went straight.
Nevertheless, according to a very sophisticated rocket tracking system, that's the path that rocket took. There's an abrupt change of direction.
That rocket did not do that.
Now look at this. Green coloration means that we have a stronger link between the Kate system aboard the rocket and the receiver on the ground. The red end is as weak as it gets.
But so what that means is the Kate system was affected by whatever this phenomenon is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We all saw that rocket go straight up above the triangle. But according to the Kate GPS tracking system, right after the rocket was launched, it flew at a very hard angle for several hundred feet before suddenly turning and then going straight up. So could the bubble have fooled this rocket's GPS tracker to think it made these maneuvers? Now, the weird thing is, zoom out all the way to the, so we got the whole thing. And let's see if there are other kinks in the flight.
Yeah, let's have a look.
I would say that this part here, that looks like regular rocket trajectory. Right here, there's clearly a kink, and it's possible that somewhere in here, we've got missing data here, and you've got missing data here, and missing data here, and here. Inside the bubble, right? We've consistently seen missing data inside the bubble. But then look up here, there's more missing data. Somewhere in here, right? That's about 3,200 feet. That's where the rockets got pushed off course on their descent. Look, we got rocket data missing above the bubble at about 3,200 feet high. So now we got something else going on above the bubble too.
It's pretty damn interesting.
That's real interesting. There's a gap of missing data points about 3,200 feet high above the triangle, right where the rockets fell off course. So is there another anomaly above the bubble that is related to the countless UAPs, strange signals, and voids in our data? And if so, how are these things connected?
Okay.
Thanks, guys.
A lot of our efforts are focused on judging whether we're dealing with something real or simply artifactual within our data when we're talking about this bubble. We need to employ everything we've gotten to give us even more accurate data to find out.
Between the UAPs, the repeated missing data, and the weird signals we detected this week, it feels like something on Skinwalker Ranch is trying to discourage our investigation. Well, let me tell you, it's all having the opposite effect. And we're not going to give up until we have all the answers. This morning, things on Skinwalker Ranch appeared to be going a lot better than usual with our drilling operation out at the Mesa. The team had gotten more than halfway up through the second of 2 boreholes that are positioned on either side of a massive, potentially metallic object which is surrounded by several smaller anomalies. So once borehole 2 is finished, we can insert scanning devices into both boreholes and hopefully identify what these potential objects could be.
Thomas, you got a copy?
I do, Alex. Go ahead.
Running into some issues over here. I'm gonna have to pull out.
You say you're pulling out?
Yeah.
What's the problem?
Yesterday, I was cutting through this hard spot around 380 feet in.
Right.
And then I hit this spot 470 foot in, and I hit something. Took me every bit of 2.5 hours to get 67 inches, and I'm not moving at all now. And it's not even biting, it's just rotating smoothly.
Well, shoot. I won't delay you anymore. I'll let you get the pipe out.
I'm gonna go over to the spoils pit and see if that bit is damaged when it comes out of the hole.
Okay.
The drillers experienced so many issues drilling on our second hole. And now whatever we're running up against is extremely hard. It really makes me wonder what's making it so hard for them to drill into the mesa. There it is. Oh my gosh.
Only one tooth on that bit is worn down.
The way that you guys were describing it, I thought the teeth would have popped off or been wore down to nub.
That's exactly what should have happened.
That's got all the teeth.
Mm-hmm. That cutting side one, the inside's off of it a little bit.
Boy, I don't know what I could have been into. I was not moving at all. And it was acting almost bald. It felt like I didn't have any teeth on the end at all.
It makes kind of a screeching noise, like if you're rubbing a knife on a plate or something smooth. And that would usually be when there's no teeth on the end of that bit.
I am absolutely shocked.
Because this drill bit isn't seriously damaged, it leaves me with a lot of questions as to what was so hard that this drill bit couldn't drill through. Is he drilling up against those anomalies that the GPR data shows buried in the mesa? Does this mean that we're drilling into some type of metallic object? Or is it something else that's causing this strange behavior with the drill? I'll get out of your way, let you guys get this changed out.
Yeah, we'll change out these bits and I'll keep you updated.
Okay, thanks, guys. Is it moving at all?
I don't think so. Yeah, that's a pretty hard layer I'm in right here.
Alex Swanson and his crew stayed late to see if they could break through it and finish the hole. So we were closely monitoring the process with our spectrum analyzers and radiation detectors.
Thomas to Eric.
You copy?
Yeah, Thomas, what do you got?
They're drilling through something extremely hard right now.
Copy that.
And we're gonna monitor down here.
Copy that.
And while drilling continued, archaeologist Chris Roberts was still methodically sifting through the drilling spoils for any clues that might help explain just what's buried inside the mesa.
Hey guys, you got a copy?
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, I got some things over here I think you're gonna want to take a look at. You wanna come over here to the spoil site?
Absolutely, we'll head right over.
Sam, Jim, if y'all don't mind, keep an eye on this and let us know if it changes dramatically or whatever.
Yeah, absolutely.
We'll be back in a bit.
Okay.
Hey, Chris.
Hey, guys. Thanks for coming over.
Yeah, man.
Something I wanted to show you that I really can't believe that we found inside the mesa.
What the hell is this?
So what is that?
It's just ceramics.
What?
Travis, flip it over. Flip it over. Do you see two different colors?
Yeah.
We've got a glazed surface and we have a porous surface here.
Yes.
Look at the patterning.
Yeah. It's like a crosshatch pattern in it.
Yes, absolutely. That's manufactured, guys.
Yeah, that is absolutely pressed into place and then baked. Could this really be a manufactured ceramic material? How did it get deep in the mesa? Is this what damaged the drill and made the beacon signal spread? And is it connected to the 1.6 gigahertz signal we just detected?
This right here is a edge fragment right there. That's a finished edge.
Oh my gosh, that's how perfect it is.
Holy crap. That's beveled for some, it fits into something else.
It's flat. It really doesn't have a curve to it. It's not a vessel. It's not a plate, a cup. Basically, it's a tile, right? But it's too thin for a floor tile, too thin for a roof tile.
Okay. You said tile.
Yes.
And that's ringing some bells for me. Think about what we were told at the University of Utah.
Right. It's a lot like the space shuttle tiles.
Holy smokes.
3 years ago, we had the metal pieces that were extracted from the mesa examined at the University of Utah.
The samples that we looked at are composed of different elements like iron, calcium, and plus oxygen.
Okay.
The samples look like they've been fused.
And their metallurgy expert, Dr. Ravi Chandran, helped us conclude that they had a manufactured design that was similar to the protective coating used on spacecraft.
When these materials fuse, it's like a thin sheet of glass. And glass is quite resistant to drilling.
It's like a glass, it's like a ceramic composite,
It's like a ceramic.
Yeah,
Yes.
so that makes a lot of sense. So could this ceramic material be what the drill was hitting? And is it what kept the bit from heating up? If so, what the heck is buried in the mesa on Skinwalker Ranch? Have we punctured through something that's coated with this ceramic? What is that ceramic doing in there?
Well, that's the question, is like, what would you use metal and ceramic like this in conjunction?
I don't know. A spaceship?
You said it.
Space age material right there.
Yeah. Yeah. 470 feet into a mesa in the middle of the desert.
Yeah. How did it get in there?
We do have a video of a UAP flying through the mesa.
Who knows? Was this some kind of high-tech vessel that maybe didn't make it all the way through and got stuck in there?
I smiled at it when you said it, but I got to tell you, I'm taking it more seriously now. Watch how this thing emerges and watch the path that it takes.
In 2022, we captured unbelievable video of a glowing UAP flying into the mesa in the east field, and then re-emerging on the other side like it flew right through solid rock. So, knowing that there's a massive object in the mesa and seeing these strange materials in the drilling spoils really makes you wonder what might have happened here.
Well, guys, the sum total of everything that we've seen up there, we're seeing signals spread. You couple that with the metal we're pulling out of there. You've got ceramic material, you got metal, you got magnetic rocks.
Right.
Yeah.
All these things could be related to what's in there, right?
I think it's 100% connected.
I want to take a radiation measurement.
I'll get the gamma read.
No, that's freaking awesome, though.
Let me get a control measurement here. Okay, so control measurement, 37. So I'm seeing 37 to 68.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a normal reading.
Seems like you got a little more excited. Really? It is more radio, 105. Oh.
Whoa.
It is radioactive.
What in the hell is this stuff?
Wow, on top of everything else, this stuff is giving off unusually high amounts of radiation. So could that be a clue that whatever's in the mesa might have caused the radiation damage to the plants and animals in the nearby field? We've got to figure out exactly what this really is.
Dude, what's going on in there?
Unbelievable.
Fantastic.
All thanks to our archaeologist who knows what he's looking at.
That's a hell of a job.
We got to get this thing to a lab and get it tested.
I want to sit down with this and get some quality time with an SEM scanning electron microscope and figure out what this is.
Hey, well, let's get to it.
Immediately.
Let's go.
All right.
Let's go.
Thanks, Chris.
Absolutely. I'll keep looking.
Hey, guys, how's it going?
Welcome to the ranch, guys. I'm Eric Bard.
I'm Dylan. Nice to meet you.
Dominic, nice to meet you.
Gentlemen, we're so glad to have you out to help with our investigation.
Absolutely.
For 6 years, our team has been working to figure out all the strange things we've encountered on Skinwalker Ranch. So today, we brought a team from U.S. Kites out to help us learn more about one phenomenon that's pretty much at the top of that list. According to the data we've collected from numerous LiDAR instruments, we believe that there's a gigantic bubble-shaped feature on the ranch that is invisible to the human eye. It's centered at the triangle and encompasses a huge area of the property both above and below ground, where we've seen all kinds of things, such as possible evidence of a black hole-like phenomenon and tons of UAPs.
We've had just about everything out here. You know, we've had helicopters, you know, fixed-wing aircraft, of course, drones, rockets.
Well, plenty of rockets.
Plenty of rockets, but we've not yet had one of these helicite platforms out here.
Okay. We don't know how, but whatever this bubble is, it seems to have thwarted almost every investigative tool that we've used to figure out what the heck it could be. Last week, Jim Royston's LiDAR drone even seemed to get stopped right at its southern boundary. So today, we're hoping to figure out how it could do that by using a specialized piece of equipment known as a helicite.
Now, why do we call it the helicite?
Well, it's a combination between a helium balloon and a kite.
How long can we stay aloft?
As long as there's helium in that balloon.
Okay.
Oh. It's actually a piece of military equipment.
Wow. Well, we've got some instruments that we want to attach to this helicite.
What excites us about the helicite is that we can attach our instruments to it and then let it hover in the air right inside the bubble's barrier to help us collect data on it while we run a new experiment.
I want to get out there to the Eastfield Canyon and get started.
All right. I say we get with it.
Yeah. Let's go.
Since we first detected evidence of the bubble, we've been running experiments inside of it to verify its dimensions and see what other strange things it might contain. But today, we want to see what happens when we attempt to penetrate its boundary with different instruments. So Thomas is going to tow the helicite out to the east field using a UTV, where it will hang several hundred feet high right in the eastern wall of the bubble, collecting data with several of our instruments that are attached to it.
This is a good setup.
These will include a GPS tracker, high-speed cameras, and a signal generator that will continually broadcast a frequency at 1.2 gigahertz.
All right. Yeah. Good. Okay, Thomas, be advised you are approaching the boundary of the bubble.
Copy that.
Okay, if you'll stop right there, let's see what we've got.
Copy that.
You are now right at the inside boundary of the bubble. Leave it in that position for the duration.
Copy that.
Once the helicite was positioned right in the eastern barrier of the bubble, we wanted to get Jim's drone launched before I started firing rockets. All right, Jim, have at it.
Hold on.
It's telling you errors?
Yeah, hold on. I can't take off.
How is putting a balloon up in the sky keeping you from launching your drone?
Who knows? I'm resetting everything. It's crazy.
Wow, look at that. Something's happening. Oh, dude, this is crazy. One of my receivers is picking up a 1.2 gigahertz signal.
Whoa.
That we are not broadcasting. This is just insane. This is the signal we're transmitting, and suddenly this line to the right of it appeared right as the helicite passed right into the barrier wall.
And that's where I got my error.
That's insane.
That is very interesting, because we've been talking about what may happen whenever a physical object passes through that boundary. That's really interesting.
That's crazy. Right when we get the helicite up in the air in the bubble barrier, we detect another duplicate 1.2 gigahertz signal, and Jim's drone won't even fly. Did the helicite making contact with the bubble trigger all of these things? All right, I'm gonna get that rocket ready. If that was the case, we wanted to see what would happen when I launched a rocket through its eastern barrier. Hey, Eric, Thomas.
I'm ready to do the first rocket launch.
Copy that, we're watching.
We will be watching too.
Rocket's hot. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
It's going the wrong way.
Looks like it's going north.
I don't understand that. We're trying to penetrate the bubble with rockets and Jim's drone, but somehow Whatever this thing is, it appears to stop them from going through its eastern barrier. But how can it do that?
You ready to discuss our experience with the maiden voyage of our helicite?
Yes.
The next day, after processing the helicite data, Eric called us into the command center for a debrief on everything that happened during the experiment.
You know, we have a few things to discuss, but I want to start with some information that you have to share, Jim. I guess this is your display, right?
Yeah.
It's my understanding that you experienced some difficulties with some interference with the drone itself during the experiment with the helicite.
Yeah, let me jump up there. We're looking at this boundary that's kind of somewhere in this range, right? That's the bubble. So Thomas, this is where the helicite was before you started moving it into the barrier of the bubble.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the actual home point of the drone. We get ready to go, and as we start moving the helicite down into the boundary, all of a sudden, we're seeing this weak satellite signal, which to me is very interesting data because I get 21 satellites, so that's plenty enough GPS satellites, if you will, to take off and fly, no problem. But the actual satellite signals are so low, the drone can't take off.
Wow.
That's crazy. As soon as the helicite got into position at the barrier of the bubble, Jim lost connection to 21 satellites. That kept his drone from taking off. Was it the helicite's interaction with the barrier of the bubble that triggered it?
Did you see any of these issues prior to moving the helicite?
No. Something about the helicite going in, that barrier inside the bubble stimulates it or something, because then I'm having problems once it's in there.
Got it.
I think whatever this bubble or barrier or dome is, that it's blocking the external signal somehow.
And adding to your point, blocking and possibly responsive to what we're doing.
That duplicate 1.2 gigahertz signal showed up when that helicite was exactly on that boundary that we're talking about.
It's a good point. Yep.
So, as if this isn't weird enough, I've got some other things that happened during the...
There's more.
Oh, there's more. There are some interesting hits in the high-speed cameras that we mounted to our science platform on the helicite. Okay, so here we have the embossed effect being used to help bring out any movement, anything in through the field of view of the camera. To be clear, this is high speed.
It's 120 frames per second.
Let me know if you see anything.
Oh, yeah.
Look translucent.
What'd you see?
Movement in the upper middle
Okay.
to the side.
So let's go back.
Right there.
Okay. We are looking at least four instances of this.
Maybe 5.
Yeah. Okay, so let's dive in on this part of the video frame. And so I'll back us up. Okay. Now I'll play through at the normal rate. All right. God. There it is.
Okay, so it's moving really damn fast if it's anywhere further than right next to the camera lens.
Can you frame advance just a couple frames?
Okay. There's 1, 2, 3.
It goes behind it.
Wow.
So we know it's not a bug.
That's important.
In front of the camera.
Yeah.
That string is out away from the
Absolutely.
platform.
That is just unbelievable. Later that day, while the drilling operation continued at the Mesa. Man, y'all brought a crew out this year, Tim.
Yeah, we got a crew, all right.
We welcomed Tim Anderson and his team from New Salt Lasers back out to help us investigate something else that's just as mind-boggling. We discovered that there appears to be a bubble over the ranch that is invisible to the naked eye, but is centered at the triangle and is about 2,000 feet in radius. So we've got to get more information about what is going on right here and what's it connected to. Well, you know what we saw last year, the laser stopped in midair. We are hitting something with the laser. What are we hitting? And last year, before we even knew about the bubble, during an experiment at the Triangle, one of New Salt's high-powered lasers was cut off 2,000 feet high, right at the top boundary of the bubble.
What's different about what you're bringing out this time, Tim?
Well, we do have a brighter laser space cannon, so we're going to be doing a lot of red, green, and blue laser space cannons for the experiments.
All right, let's do it. Our goal tonight is to confirm if laser beams really might be stopped or strangely altered by the bubble. So we're gonna use multicolored laser beams to see if all of them will be affected in the same way or if it only applies to certain colors.
Hey, Eric, we've got one rocket on the pad. Let's go ahead and...
Bring all the lasers up.
Okay, copy that. Thanks, man.
All right, New Salt Laser technicians.
I'm gonna do a countdown.
3, 2, 1, lasers.
Lasers are up. Look at that.
Look at that. Wow.
I'm here at the drill site with the lasers, and everything looks good.
The lasers look amazing.
With all the laser cannons working, I was ready to fire off a rocket just outside of the bubble from Homestead 2.
Rocket is launching in 5, 4,
3, 2,
1.
Whoa, 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 whoa. I just hit all the errors.
Unbelievable.
Hey, Eric.
Just got all sorts of errors and having a lot of interference going on with the drone.
All right, Eric, be advised the drone is aborting the flight and returning to home.
Okay, listen to this.
That data corruption error happened literally right at the edge of that bubble.
That's freaking nuts.
The rocket appeared to be unaffected, but right after I launched it, Jim's drone completely malfunctioned and couldn't penetrate the southern barrier of the bubble. Did the rocket somehow activate the bubble to stop the drone from flying inside it? That just makes no sense.
Everyone be advised that
We're on the move to the drill site. Copy that.
At that point, I wanted to launch another rocket, but this time from inside the bubble at the Mesa drill site to see if that might get us an answer.
What's beeping?
Whoa!
What's beeping?
Look, oh my God, look at that. We're getting huge gamma rays. Everybody in the cars and out of here. Out. We're evacuating now. Listen to it. Everybody out now.
Hey guys, it's going on.
Everybody out now. This is no joke.
No, it's not.
Eric, we're getting over 700 counts per minute, and at some points it was 800.
That's getting into the dangerous zone there, Travis. Things went from weird to really freaking scary at the Mesa drill site right as we were preparing to launch a rocket up through the bubble. Out of nowhere, our gamma ray detectors started spiking, which indicated we were suddenly exposed to an extremely dangerous level of radiation.
Anybody at Homestead 2, anybody west,
Has to come back toward the command center.
we're now approaching the triangle, but it seems to be following us.
We're still getting slammed.
Travis, you guys literally just got to the triangle. Right when you guys got there, all the lasers just went out.
That doesn't make any sense.
When Caleb alerted us that the laser cannons at the triangle quit working, it was right as we were passing by on our way back to the command center. Now, we were also driving inside the bubble. So, was something inside of it shutting down our equipment while also emitting the spike of gamma rays at us? What the heck was going on?
You got 2 different Geiger counters.
Yeah. Just kind of watch and see what happens.
What was that?
It jumped.
Oh, it's jumping, look.
Look at that.
Eric, do you copy?
Yeah, Travis, go ahead.
Eric, we checked a second gamma ray detector. If I hold one, it's up over 1900. But if I'm not touching it, it reads normal levels.
So I think we're having an electromagnetic interference issue here.
Not gamma rays.
Yeah, Travis, I'm fairly confident we're looking at an EMI issue.
Okay, it was time to take a deep breath. The Geiger counters detected normal and safe levels of radiation when I wasn't touching them, but spiked when I picked them up. That meant we were not getting hit by dangerous levels of gamma rays, but instead, something had caused major EMI, or electromagnetic interference, here on the ranch, which can make electronics go haywire like what we were seeing. Greetings, Earthlings.
Come on in, have a seat.
What are we doing today, Eric?
So we're looking at the review of all the data we got last night with new SALT lasers.
So I have some still frame images that are built from long exposure.
These show the laser cannons that were in the east field.
You know, obviously, given what we saw last night, we're all very interested in whether we see any kinds of unusual effects in the beams themselves.
Can you zoom in on that? Look at that. There is a gap in the green laser beam.
Whoa.
What the hell?
Exactly.
These lasers are right by each other. I mean, literally inches from each other.
Yeah.
And it didn't stop the blue or the red, only the green.
Yeah, and it's the same thing we saw last year.
That's outside the bubble boundary. Wow. Caleb's exactly right. During an experiment last year using the new SALT lasers at the triangle, something blocked out a small section only in their green laser beam. But that was inside the bubble.
Whoa. No.
What could be doing that? And now, the exact same thing happened last night just outside the bubble's eastern barrier. This is why we use different color laser beams, to see if they would be affected differently. But now the question is, why?
But wait.
But wait, there's more. Okay, what is this one?
Yeah, this is surveillance footage of something moving in that general region of the sky.
There's two of them.
You see what's going on here? How about I dive in on it? Zoom in.
Yeah.
And then one of them disappeared.
Yeah.
Let's just keep watching this one.
Okay.
Wow.
Whoa. And it vanished right there.
Let's play that again.
Whatever these two things are here, they don't seem to look like your typical low Earth orbiting satellites. It's moving too slow and with different kind of motion.
Well, it certainly isn't in low Earth orbit because the rate of travel here is far too slow, and there are no aviation lights.
No aviation lights. Was one or both of these UAPs what flew through the laser beams?
Yeah. So go back to 3 minutes, Eric. There's a lot of stuff going on here, and I just saw a really bright flash, too, so.
Oh, there was a flash. There was a flash. Back up, Eric.
Okay.
And then there's that flash. What is that? Where's that light coming from? What? Holy crap. I don't know what the flash in the east field could have been, but it seemed to appear right at the same time as the UAPs. Could that have been where they came from? And if so, how might it be related to the bubble?
As always, I'm in a state of bewilderment and awe.
All right.
All right, guys. This is a fantastic review. Fantastic.
Yeah. All right.
Thank
Great
you.
stuff.
Thank you.
Yep. How you doing, man?
Good to see you, Travis.
Yeah, good to see you, Dave. We welcome back thermal imaging experts Dave Mason and Pete Kelsey to help us conduct nighttime experiments at the Triangle designed to learn more about the bubble-like anomaly.
I'm praying for a lot of smoke.
Ever since we saw the blob above the triangle, I thought that building large fires there and creating a lot of smoke might help us be able to paint the invisible man, so to speak. So tonight's exercise, where we're gonna have 2 large containers with fire, is gonna give us the opportunity to put a lot of smoke up in this space over a long period of time.
We're getting there.
While the fires fill the air inside the bubble with smoke, we're hoping that it will allow us to see the shape of the bubble either with our own eyes or on our instruments. Dave Mason will be operating his specialized FLIR thermal cameras to capture anything strange that might appear cooler than normal in what will be a very hot environment. If he does capture anything, it could be more evidence that something of significance is above the triangle.
All right, guys, we're ready to light this first bin. Here it goes.
There it goes.
Burn, baby, burn.
There's a lot of heat coming off that now.
Yep. Well, we're now flooding that zone pretty good.
Yeah, we sure are. That's a lot. That's a lot of hot air.
guys ready for us to light the second one?
Light that second fire.
That's all I needed to hear. All right. Perfect. That's a great smoke column.
All right, what the hell was that? A big cold pocket just forming. Oh, that is weird.
You guys should see this. This is just weird. There's a cold vortex in the heat.
David, that is really interesting.
Oh, there's another one. In the FLIR, we're picking up these dark zones, these cold vortexes in the heat. And then some of them would just kind of move around.
Look at that.
And yeah, see, right there. That, yeah, see?
That doesn't make any sense.
This is just amazing. And I don't have an explanation for it. The cold spots that registered as black or just extremely cold are in the vicinity of where there would be extreme heat. There's no physics explanation for this. I have never observed this, nor would I expect to be able to observe this. This was the strangest thing I've ever seen.
All right, I think I'm gonna put a rocket up through there.
Stand for. Since we had no idea if the cold spots were physical objects,
I think right there is gonna do it.
I decided to launch a rocket to see what would happen as it flew through one of these anomalies.
Everybody be advised.
It's at the triangle. We have a rocket is going hot. Rocket is going hot.
Copy that.
Guys, be advised we're about ready to go with a rocket launch. We'll have all your sensors ready to go. David?
Be paying attention on your differential flares, please.
Yeah, roger that, I'm doing that.
In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Dude, that one went straight up. Come on, shoot.
Eyes on it.
Gosh, I don't have any eyes on anywhere.
Right there.
There it is. Good shoot.
It stopped.
Rocket went straight up, chute has deployed.
And it's sitting still right over the triangle.
What?
Look at that. It's not even moving. It looks like it's floating right over the triangle. It's not coming down. Look at that.
It's not even moving
It's
now.
not moving. Thomas, look, it ain't falling.
It looks like it's suspended in the air.
It ain't even falling. What the hell? That is insane.
Now it's moving.
Yeah, it's coming down now. It's gonna come right down on top of us.
I couldn't tell at the moment what caused it, but something clearly made that rocket freeze midair a couple hundred feet high for several seconds. There was literally no wind at the time that would explain it. So, could it have been something strange inside the bubble that held it in place like that?
What's going on?
Remember, after we got the fires going, we did do a rocket launch. And I've got some video content that David Mason has shared with us from his differential thermal FLIR system. We do see the rocket in this video sequence, but there's also another feature that you may remember he was drawing our attention to, and it was a cold zone.
Oh, I remember that.
That cold zone was there almost all night. It was really weird.
I'm just gonna let this play through.
So you can see the two fire bins on either side and the hot smoke rising, but for some reason, you got these dark, cold zones right about where the blob was.
As we review the data from the smoke fire experiment in the triangle, it's crazy to think that these cold spots were right above me. There was so much heat in that area, I don't even see how that's possible. To have these cold spots, what could possibly be going on here?
I have no explanation for that. But I've got a few things I wanted to show you all.
Okay.
This is the triangle. This is SLAM LiDAR scanner. This, to me, was the most interesting one.
We'll check this out. But if you rotate this and look at it from the south, there was something that looked quite solid, sort of poking out of that cloud.
The feature that first caught my eye, because it appears to be more solid, was actually in this area.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna point and you tell me where Dave's feature, his cold spot was
Or
located.
you stop in height, but you need to go to the west. Or stop right there.
Right there.
Yep. That's where the big cold spot or vortex was.
That's crazy. They
Yeah.
look similar now that I'm looking at it.
Wow.
That is wild.
There's clearly structure right in there that's more dense or has more particle points than in the rest of the cloud.
How do you get such coherent structure in smoke?
That's crazy. Between the cold spot that Dave Mason captured in his thermal camera and the features in the smoke that both Eric and Pete Kelsey picked out in the LiDAR data, made us wonder if there could be multiple anomalies at the center of the bubble. But if so, what are they and what purpose do they have?
We did a lot of scans. I'm just going to show you one more because this is the really interesting one. I'll just come around to the launch site.
Okay, so what are we looking at right there?
This, I believe, is the rocket.
The rocket, uh-huh.
This is a total mystery, once again, in almost the same spot in over 25 scans now. There's been something in that direction giving me returns going well up into the sky.
Is that the edge of the bubble?
Yes.
All right, so this is looking straight up.
Straight up.
You know, this is looking straight up, and there's the top of the bubble. You can see the rings. Look here, it's, so you can see this ring right here, and there's the central point. There's another ring here, there. Look, here's an outer ring here. You can still see it. You can see the walls of the bubble.
Yeah.
Look, see, here it is, look. You can see the walls. You can see it. The LiDAR picked it up again. Our fires and smoke certainly gave us more data on possible anomalies above the triangle. But just like Pete's LiDAR data from 1 year ago, we now have repeatable, hard evidence that a massive bubble-shaped phenomenon is encompassing the entire area. Now, we've got to figure out an experiment to determine what it is and what these weird things inside of it could be. This was a fascinating experiment. We've got a cold blob floating in the air that doesn't move. We've got people seeing blue orbs, and we got LiDAR picking up a bubble around us.
That's crazy.
So, Eric, maybe you were right. Where there's smoke, there is fire.
This time for sure, and more.